There's been a lot of changes in the UFC in the past couple of weeks, but one of the biggest switch-ups was Alex Pereira vacating his light heavyweight championship and moving up to heavyweight. Now, this opens up the door for two more prospects to try to take the light heavyweight gold, and one's already been there. See, this isn't just another light heavyweight fight. This is Warrior Chaos versus Calculated Destruction. On one hand, you have former champion Procházska versus rising knockout artist Carlos Ulberg. Now, somebody's getting tested in a very real way. Now, let's get into it. See, Procházska is unlike anyone else in the division. Unorthodox, wild, creative, and violent. A former UFC light heavyweight champion, Yuri doesn't just fight with rhythm, he breaks rhythm. Spinning elbows, no-look strikes, forward pressure that feels like a storm. But here's the question. After brutal wars and injuries, is the chaos still controlled, or has the division started to solve the puzzle? Now, Carlos Ulberg represents a new generation. He's technical, measured, and surgical. See, he trains out of City Kickboxing, and this is the same camp that's produced the elite strikers like, Israel Adesanya and Alex Volkanovski. See, Ulberg is right up next behind him. See, just like Izzy, Ulberg fights long, composed, and even more so than Adesanya, he's devastatingly accurate. He has fast hands, clean counters, and real raw knockout power. See, he doesn't waste energy. He waits, he calculates, and then he detonates. But see, this is his biggest test yet, and can he handle the madness and the chaos that Yuri Procházska is going to bring him? See, with both of these guys coming in at around 6'4", they use their height and their reach in different ways. See, if Ulberg keeps it technical, sticks behind the jab, punishes entries, controls the distance, he could pick Yuri apart. But if Yuri drags him into deep waters, if this becomes unpredictable, and if it turns into a firefight, well, see, that's where Procházska might thrive. See, the experience favors Yuri, the momentum may favor Ulberg, but the durability, well, we just have to find out about that one. See, at light heavyweight, one statement win changes everything. And both of these guys have made statement wins in their past fights, both fighting past title challengers. See, a win for Procházska puts him right back at the top of the division. And a win for Ulberg, it launches him into elite tier and superstar status overnight. See, this isn't just a fight. This is a gatekeeper moment for Procházska, and he'll have to prove that he's not going to fit the bill. See, this is a fight that's going to be precision versus chaos. It's going to be patience versus pressure, and structure versus instinct. See, when the cage door closes, only one style will survive. Yuri Procházska and Carlos Ulberg. Now, like I always like to say, styles make fights. Now, these are two completely different striking systems inside the UFC light heavyweight division. And to understand who has the edge, we need to break down the range control, the defensive habits, and the finishing dynamics. So let's break it down even more. Now, the biggest technical factor in this fight is range. Ulberg is at his best when he operates at a kickboxing distance. See, he works behind a tight stance, a long guard, and quick jab entries. You'll often see him establish the lead jab, follow with the straight right or the left hook, and he exits laterally before the counters arrive. Now, this is classic City Kickboxing structure from City Kickboxing. It controls entries, operates on quick scoring, and taking minimal risks. Procházska, on the other hand, he doesn't respect traditional range rules. See, he enters from unusual angles, often with looping hooks, blitzing combinations, spinning attacks, and shifting footwork. See, technically, this breaks the rhythm of conventional strikers, but it also leaves openings. Now, this is where the fight gets interesting. Procházka's defense is largely reactive rather than structured. Instead of traditional guard mechanics, he relies on head movement, leaning back, stance switches, and absorbing shots just to fire back. See, this style creates chaos, but it also means clean punches can land. And Ulberg, meanwhile, is much more disciplined defensively. See, his habits include maintaining guard position, stepping off the center line, and controlling exchanges instead of extending them. A prime example of this is watch how similar him and Israel Adesanya uses their height and their range to control distance and land those shots that just puts people asleep. See, if Ulberg keeps the fight in short, controlled exchanges, he minimizes Procházka's unpredictability. Now, this is the part I couldn't wait to talk about because I said it a million times before, and I don't have a problem saying it a million times again. Styles make fights. Now, both of these fighters carry serious knockout power, but they generate it in very different ways. See, Procházka's power comes from volume and unpredictability. He likes to overwhelm his opponents with the layered offensive striking plan. See, a lot of his strikes come from angles that are just honestly flat out hard to read. And once he hurts someone, he becomes very dangerous with his elbows in close range, his ground and pound, and his relentless pressure. Now, Ulberg, on the other hand, his power is cleaner and much more technical. See, his knockouts usually come from straight punches, countered hooks, and well-timed kicks. Now, rather than overwhelming his opponents, he finds the precise openings. And just like Israel said, he doesn't throw and pray, he aims and fire. Now, cardio could play a major role here, as Procházka is comfortable in high chaos fights that extends into the later rounds. See, his pressure style forces opponents to constantly react, which can definitely drain their energy at a much faster rate than normal. Now, Ulberg prefers efficient striking, but we have seen him gas out before. But if he can slow the pace and avoid those extended brawls, conserve his energy, and keep his technique sharp, then this could be a very quick night for Procházka, much like we saw Alex Pereira do to him twice. So, for Procházka, success will likely come from breaking Ulberg's rhythm early, forcing those messy exchanges, and closing the distance aggressively, basically turning the fight into a chaotic brawl. If he can collapse the range and disrupt Ulberg's timing, then the fight becomes much harder to control. Now, for Ulberg, the key is simply discipline. He has to maintain his distance and punish Procházka for those wild entries, use straight punches down the center, and avoid those extended exchanges. See, if Ulberg stays technical and composed, he could capitalize on Procházka's defensive openings. Ultimately, this fight boils down to one single question. Can Carlos Ulberg keep the fight structured and technical, or will Yuri Procházka turn it into the kind of chaotic battle that he always thrives in? Because if the structure breaks, history shows that's when Procházka is the most dangerous. But y'all have to let me know how y'all feel about this one in the comments. Stay tuned for the next breakdown.